You may be wondering, what do we do when taking the square root of both sides and factoring don't work when solving a quadratic? Well, before I answer that question, let's remind ourselves what is a quadratic equation. The standard form of a quadratic, starting with the largest exponent first, is ax squared plus bx plus c equals y. A is the coefficient or the value in front of our x squared. B is the coefficient or value in front of x. C is the constant. You'll see the note over here to change 0 or change y to 0. This is because when we solve a quadratic, we're finding the roots, and the roots of a parabola are always the x-intercepts. All x-intercepts have a y-coordinate of 0. So back to the question. What do we do when solving a quadratic and square roots and factoring don't work? The answer is use the quadratic formula. So when given a quadratic in standard form, the quadratic formula is thus: x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now that is a lot to remember and quite extensive. So of course there's a tune to pop goes the weasel. So let me sing it for you once. X equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now sing it with me. X equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So now that we know the quadratic formula, let us actually use it to solve. So given a quadratic, 2x squared plus 1x minus 6 equals 0, we would like to find the roots. The first step every time you use the quadratic formula is to first identify a, b, and c. A, being the coefficient of x squared, is 2. B, being the coefficient of x, is 1. And c, our constant, is negative 6. Now we need to substitute this into the quadratic formula for step 2. Feel free to sing it on out loud. X equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Notice 1 has replaced both b's, 2 has replaced both a's, and negative 6 has gone in for c. Now that all our numbers are in the right place, now we just need to simplify and find our roots. So step 3 is to focus on your radicand and your denominator. The denominator is pretty straightforward. 2 times 2 is 4. The radicand involves a little of order operations. 1 squared, then 4 times 2 times negative 6, and then our subtraction should give us 49. Once those two items are simplified, then we're going to focus on taking the square root of 49. Since 49 is a perfect square, we just get 7. Our last step is then to find our roots. The plus or minus is going to get us to our two different roots in this particular equation. The plus version is negative 1 plus 7 divided by 4. With order of operations, negative 1 and 7 is 6, and 6 divided by 4 is 3 halves. Our other solution, using the minus from our plus or minus, is negative 1 minus 7, which is negative 8, divided by 4 is negative 2. So in this particular case, our roots for the equation 2x squared plus 1x minus 6 is 3 halves, or 1.5, and negative 2. So that is the quadratic formula. And now you have 3 methods for solving a quadratic. The first we learned was taking square roots, then factoring, and now the quadratic formula.